All right, everybody. As always, I like to say happy Monday. And I know some people don't like Mondays. We look forward to Fridays, but I like Mondays because I get to talk to lots of great people in our community. And we have got a really full show for you today. Normally, I have 3 guests, but today we've got 4 because there's a special season coming up. It's more than a game. It's Sarnia Sting OHL hockey, and we've got the voice for the Sarnia Sting. Leigh Cunningham has taken some time out of his very busy time right now. Leigh Cunningham, thanks for being here.
No problem, Dave. Anytime.
This is training camp day is underway today, and therefore, I think a lot of people probably think you just take the summer off, but that's not really true, is it?
Well, we do get a little bit of downtime. I will admit that, but no, it's a 12-month of the year proposition, Dave. There's no question about it, and especially for the players, we all know that their training regimen and their nutrition and everything is a 12-month of the year deal. So we're looking forward to having the guys back to camp. They did their fitness testing today. They'll take the ice tomorrow, prepare for the black and white game, obviously. With the United Way being the benefactor of those contributions in the community, and get ready to go with a home-and-home set with the London Knights Friday in London and back here Saturday night at Progressive Auto Sales Arena.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. You know, I think the games that are coming up in training camp, it's almost an unofficial way of saying summer's over.
But yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah,
let's go. That usually comes actually after the long weekend in August, where you sort of say, okay, summer is kind of waning down, and now we got to dial in, do a little hockey. But it's a great time of the year, and we're looking forward to it very much.
Yeah, let's go back, and of course, nobody likes to dwell on the past, and we're not going to do that. But looking back from last year's season, there was a lot of strengths that came out of the Sarnia Sting, and we saw a lot of that. But there's always gaps that need to be filled in there. In your opinion, as someone who's really right up close to all of this, what are the strengths the Sarnia Sting needs to hold on to, and what are some of the things they need to work with?
Well, I think we'll start with the positives, and that is a great young nucleus coming back to this organization. The Sarnia Sting boasts some of the best players in the 16 to 18 range with some good solid veterans as well. Ryan McGregor, we'll see if he returns as the captain of this hockey club. He's eligible for an overage season, arguably the best two-way forward in our league. He'll go up to Traverse City with the Columbus Blue Jackets as part of the Detroit Red Wings tournament, which is happening, of course, next month. And a lot of key guys. But what will be missing from the hockey club, Hugo Lavinius will play pro in Sweden this year, taking his goal scoring with him. Obviously, it's tough to see Mitch Elliott leave and join the Vancouver Canucks, who, of course, he signed with as a free agent. So those are 2 key losses, obviously. But let's look at the positive. Jamison Reese coming back, a drafted pick now by the Carolina Hurricanes. We're looking forward to the 2 import players that have come in. Eric Jorth, defenseman out of Sweden, big kid, 6'3", puck mover, a draft pick of the Columbus Blue Jackets. And Marek Burka, who had 29 goals last year playing for one of the junior leagues in the Czech Republic. So, I like this hockey club for 2 reasons, 2 primary reasons. The compete level is going to be phenomenal with the Reeses and the Braden guys and young guys like Owen Say and Nolan Burke and players like that. And I think the one thing that fans will notice, Dave, is size on the blue line this year between Ashton Reeser and Nolan Dillingham. Yort is about 6'3". Obviously, Marko Yakovlevich is a big body. Kelton Hatcher, one of the better body checkers in the Ontario Hockey League, back for an overage season at about 6'3". So that is one thing that I think fans will notice is size on the blue line. And I think that's something that is by design. The Sarnia Sting candidly gave up too many goals as a team last year. They'd like to carve a significant portion off of the goals against. If they do that, I think they're going to be right in the race in the West Division.
Yeah, it's kind of and it's kind of bittersweet, this OHL game, isn't it? Because we see so much growth that comes out of the players, and they're obviously looking to go to another level. Hugo, I'm really happy for him because I honestly I think he was a little underrated in the sense of he wasn't necessarily getting all the recognition from other parts of the world, I guess. So it's always nice to see that success there, but it is a little bittersweet. But are you feeling it in the arena already right now? Is the excitement building? Is the buzz coming out at this point?
I think so. A lot of people come up to me and comment that they're looking forward to the season. Obviously, we'll get a good barometer of that, Dave, with the coming week and the training camp sessions beginning tomorrow, carrying on Wednesday into the black and white game, and then the 2 exhibition games that I alluded to against the London Knights. And I think that'll get things kind of simmering a little bit from a fan base perspective. And when you look at it, people don't like to necessarily separate themselves from their summer. So, the weather starts to cool down a little bit and all that sort of thing, and people start gearing up a little bit more for hockey. So I think we'll transition into that nicely as the days go on. But sure, looking forward to welcoming the players in on the ice tomorrow.
Yeah, fantastic. And of course, one of the great things about the Sarnia Sting as well is their community involvement with multiple groups and organizations. And of course, we know about the black and white game for supportive 14 years now supporting United Way. Community support really seems to be important to the Sarnia Sting.
No, it's massive. It's massive. It's something that certainly the league fosters and likes to support, and the Sarnia Sting, as part of the 20-team Ontario Hockey League, certainly take a page from that. We like to have the guys out in the community and meeting students. We had a nice little visit to Pathways the other day, and things of that nature, various partnerships around the community that support that charitable and community angle that we're striving for. And the players, they really do like interacting with the kids, especially if we go to a school. They're so geared up to see these Sarnia Sting players walk in a little bit larger than life. They come in with the jerseys and whatnot, and you hope that generates into a positive situation here at Progressive Auto Sales Arena in terms of ticket sales and all that. But I think it all coincides. I think a community and a junior hockey team have to have harmony between the two, and I think the Sarnia Sting do a very good job of supporting that, and that will certainly continue this year.
Yeah, fantastic. Let's talk about coaching staff for just a moment. There's always some kind of strategy going on as to how to make the players play and how to teach them and coach them. And of course, everybody in the sidelines thinks they know better or is trying to figure out or get inside the heads.
Absolutely.
What do you think the strategy is this year? And I know that's a pretty broad question, but what's a real main focus here?
Well, I think I'll hark back to what I said about goals against and preventing less goals this year. I think it's number one for this hockey club to really, really carve into that goals against, and the rest will take care of itself. And, I think there's enough talent here from an offensive perspective to generate quite a bit in the way of goals. But if they can carve down that goals against, I think that's the number one priority for this hockey club. And again, I get back to the point that this is a team that looks very competitive on the ice, and they're going to have to be. The West Division is good this year.
Yeah.
When you look at, Sault Ste. Marie will take some hits, obviously, after some very successful seasons due to graduation. But Saginaw last year, of course, the West Division champions, they had a franchise best season last year in so many statistical categories. They return a lot of their core from last year. I think the Windsor Spitfires will be a pretty good hockey club if they get some goaltending. They're led by 2 outstanding young players in Jean-Luc Foudy and, he's escaping me right now, Will Cooley, 2 outstanding rookies from last year. And the other team that's on the rise in the West Division after being dormant for the last couple of years, that being the Flint Firebirds, they're going to be pretty good this year. So the West Division is going to be very, very competitive in my estimation. I think the Sting will be right in the thick of it.
And there's a new member of the team this year as well, right?
We've got a couple. Yeah, we've got a few. Ben Gaudreau, of course, a goaltender taken in the first round of the Ontario Hockey League priority selection, has been a goaltender taken that high in almost 20 years. So he comes with a lot of advanced billing. Justin O'Donnell, a second-round pick for the Sarnia Sting, is also on hand. And, that's what training camp's all about, to see if there's any diamonds in the rough and hidden gems that report to camp. And, here's their opportunity to show Nick Sinclair, the general manager, and of course the coaching staff, what they can do. And the 2 European players that I alluded to as well, they are both here and ready to go and start camp tomorrow with the rest of them.
Yeah. And I was also leaning towards, is there a new member of the coaching team as far as
Yeah, Frankie Palazzese.
Yeah, right. Sorry. I didn't know how to say the name.
Yeah, Frankie Palazzese, the new goaltending coach for the Sarnia Sting. Comes in with a wealth of experience at the Ontario Hockey League level as a player between Kingston, Kitchener, and the Sudbury Wolves. Played a little bit of pro. He's had a goaltending clinic that he's operated up in the GTA over the last little while after serving as the goaltending coach last year for the Toronto Varsity Blues at the university level. So looking forward to Frankie coming in and working with these two young netminders. Ethan Langevin is back after what I thought was a very, very fine rookie season last year. Tough for a 17-year-old goaltender to come into the OHL and thrive, and I thought Ethan did a great job last year. And Ben Gaudreau comes in with a lot of advanced billing, obviously being a first-round pick, but I think he and Ethan Langevin are going to have a very, very healthy competition for net time. And Ethan Langevin maybe overshadowed a little bit by the heralded young rookie, but he's a good goaltender in his own right, and I like the situation for the Sarnia Sting at the position.
Awesome. Well, Leigh Cunningham, I know you've got lots on your plate right now, so I appreciate you taking the 15 minutes to join us here. And we'll see you at all the home games, I'm sure. And again, thanks for your time today.
My pleasure, Dave. Anytime.
All right. Leigh Cunningham, the voice of the Sarnia Sting. You can listen to him play-by-play on CHOK 103.9 FM and 1070 AM. And thanks to our friend Jake Burry, who helped get Leigh on here with us as well. We appreciate that. All right. Thanks again, Leigh Cunningham, for joining us here. And, of course, you can see that the black and white game in support of the United Way is coming up this Wednesday, August the 28th. I won't be there, unfortunately, but we will be back. All the Sarnia Sting home games will be there, giving you pre-show, intermission, and post-game interviews with players and coaches, etc. So make sure you keep following us along on that. All right. Well, on to our next guest. I told you we had a busy show today. She's waiting here in the lobby. And Goodwill does a lot of things, and there's been some changes in the Goodwill, and we're going to talk about some of that coming up right now. This is Shelby Griggs joining us here from Goodwill, Great Lakes, Ontario. I got that right, did I?
Yes, you did.
I know that's a recent change, right?
Yes, it has been a recent, just this year. So
Okay.
we amalgamated with London.
Yep.
So now we are Goodwill Great Lakes, Ontario, and we're servicing most of Ontario.
Right. And what was it just simpler to amalgamate everybody, or what was the reason behind that? Or
So the reason behind the amalgamation, we just work better together. We're stronger as one, and we can. There's a lot of services. There was a lot of ways that London was really ahead of us, and there were ways where we were ahead of London. So we thought to amalgamate together, work together. We're just stronger as one, and it was a very smooth process, and it's been great ever since.
Right. So let's talk about what we're here today. I guess Goodwill Connections is what you're representing, right?
Yes. So I'm the community engagement facilitator for Goodwill Ontario Great Lakes Career Center in Sarnia, and I am the community engagement facilitator for two programs that I'm going to talk about tonight. So Goodwill Connections being one of them, and then Goodwill Taps being the other one. So Goodwill Connections is a program that we have for adults over the age of 18 that are just looking to become more involved in their community, looking to build some skills to either become more independent or gain competitive employment. So that program is available for adults with developmental disabilities over the age of 18 if they're aligned with Developmental Services Ontario. They can become connected with our program. And just as I said, we focus on the competitive employment, the community involvement, and the skills training. So the calendar each month, there's many opportunities for clients to learn different vocational and life skills, become involved in their community, just dependent on what their goals are, because this program is also geared to support each individual as they set and work towards their own goals. So every client that comes here, they have their own goal plans, and they're working towards their individualized goals.
Okay. And is this a new program?
This program has been around since 2017.
Okay.
And we've seen great success with the program. So right now, currently 80% of our participants are either working or they're working competitively, or they are volunteering within the community.
Okay. So how does this all get supported? Is there government support, or does Goodwill have to do their own fundraising, or where does that come from?
So support for the Goodwill Connections program, we do have a base funding for so many people. And then if we do extra services, there's something called passport funding, which persons with disabilities are able to get, and they can purchase services just based on what they need. When we have spots opening, they are called vacancies. So people can either come in for full-time or part-time spots. They choose their schedule, and that's all a part of the base funding that we get. So usually when someone graduates the program, they've reached all their goals, they're independent, that sort of thing, and they've moved out of the program, we can open up their spot for someone else. But if people just want different services and they do have the passport funding, they can also purchase service as well from us, whether that be just job searching, becoming more involved with the community, job coaching, all that sort of stuff.
Right. So how's the community getting involved with all of this? You must have to create some partnerships and relationships with different, I'm guessing, employers in the community. How does that look?
Yeah, for sure. So as a community engagement facilitator, that's a part of my job. But since we are connected with the Goodwill Career Center, when it comes to employment, we do work with the job developer there as well, if that's their goal. So we get them set up with services with the Career Center, and then we work together to support them into finding employment. And then once they find employment, we support them in helping them to retain it. So whether that be job coaching or putting job aids in place and that sort of thing. For the community involvement stuff, we like to be involved in community events. I'm the one who goes out and is talking with the community and creating different partnerships in different ways that we can work together in a mutually beneficial way for different partners and us to support our clients. So we're involved in that way as well.
Right. And is there some ongoing, is there some of the partners you can mention here that are involved?
So one big thing that I'm a part of, so I'm the co-chair for the Lambton Canteen Transition Committee. So that's a committee in Sarnia-Lambton that
Sorry, I didn't hear the what committee?
Sorry, the Lambton Canteen Transition Committee. So
okay.
Yep. So it's a committee of service providers that come together, and we help to plan workshops and resources for families who have children with disabilities who are transitioning from high school into adulthood. So we work together there. And then we also offer different supports. One of our most recent partners to come on is from Mackenzie Investments. So we are offering that to our clients to become connected with them if they're wanting to have, it's called an RDSP. So it's a Retirement Disability Savings Program. And it's for people with disabilities to start a retirement savings fund, but there's lots of government grants and incentives that go with that as well. We have partnerships with Codes for Kids is another thing that we do. So we partner with Blackburn Radio each year, and we organize Codes for Kids. So Blackburn helps with the marketing, and then we kind of we do all the organizing. Our stores will store all the coats beforehand, and then on the day of, our program goes and we set up the event, we organize everything, and then we run the event as well. So that's also another way that we're involved in the community. The Connections program has a community garden that they take care of as well. So they're doing lots of different things.
Right. So you're busy. You got a lot. You got a lot on the go there.
Yes, for sure. Our calendar's always full. Yeah,
but that's a good thing, right? I mean, Goodwill has done a lot of goodwill. I guess it's a pretty fitting name, I guess. But the response from the community has obviously been really good on an organizational base. But is the program? I guess what kind of success rate would the program be putting out? Because I'm looking for a job or trying to decide what direction you want to take your life. I guess there's a lot of variables that are affecting someone that's going to use your services, right?
Yes, for sure. And that's why we work on the individual based services. It's not that everybody gets the same thing, it's everybody gets what they need. Right. And above all, really our service, we respect and we embrace diversity and we treat people with dignity, and we believe that everybody should have access to employment and community involvement no matter what barriers they face. So we work in very creative ways to support people from the beginning of the end to the job search. So when it comes to the job search piece, we offer those services obviously every day for free. And
Right.
for people to become connected with that, all they need to do is walk in the door, and then we'll do an intake with them, and then we'll know from there which program will best support them. So that kind of moves into the Goodwill TAPS program. So it's for people who identify with having a disability over the age of 16, and that's just the employment piece. So it isn't a day program that they come to. It's really on an individual basis on how quickly they want to have a job or what support they need to get a job. So it's not like they have a time limit in the program to find a job. And then we help with everything there. So we help with the resume and cover letter support, applying to jobs, the job development piece as well, where we can market them to employers and those employer relationships that we have. And then we also offer the job coaching, the job shadowing, or job trials, just in case they're not sure what kind of field they're wanting to get into or they need that extra support. And then another piece of that is we don't want to just help people find jobs. We want people to find meaningful employment that they want to stay in.
Yeah. Well, that makes perfect sense because, I mean, why be somewhere you don't want to be? I mean, we've probably all had that job that we didn't really want, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's good to jump into that right from the start. And is there a limit to how often someone can use these services? Is there support, I guess, once a job is landed or a career has been chosen? Is there still after support as well?
Yep, for sure. So in our Goodwill TAPS program, we follow them for a certain amount of months if they're needing support, and we'll be helping them with their income reporting and stuff like that. But we are still there after they find a job to be that support, to talk to the employer if they need us to go in on the job and coach them, or if they need job aids, like if they need, say, for example, a job aid would be like someone needs pictures of different jobs that they have to do to help them to remember. We can do that, or we could set up signs or do job lists and that sort of thing. So it definitely isn't once you find a job, you're done with our services. And even if they were to find a job, they were to go throughout the program for so many months, and then we closed them out of the program, they were good and that sort of thing, and they lost their job the next day, they could come and re-sign up with our services.
Right. Okay. So
there isn't like a limit on how often they can use our service. It's just whenever they need.
Right. Okay. And I lost my thought there for a minute. The program, this is like, what are the hours available to this, or how is it available on Saturdays as well, or?
So it isn't available on Saturdays, but we are open from 8:30 to 4:30 every single day, Monday to Friday.
Okay. Throughout
the week. And it's available throughout those hours for the Connections program and for the Goodwill TAPS program.
Right. Okay. And they can just walk in?
Yep, they can just walk in. So if they're not aligned with our services, they would walk in and then they'd be scheduled for an intake with whoever would be on intake that day, just because it rotates through case managers. And then from there, we'd be able to kind of discuss with them more like what their needs they're looking for and to align them with the correct program.
Right. Okay. What's a resume look like these days, Shelby? I haven't put together a resume in a long time, but I'm imagining something must have changed. Is there a right way and a wrong way to put something like that together?
So we definitely support people in that when creating the resume, just because we kind of know what you should put on a resume, what you shouldn't put on a resume. So we do spend lots of time updating resumes with clients. That's one of the main things that we do. I don't know if they have changed over time. I think the rules are relatively the same, but we just always want to let people know the fact that employers, they usually don't have a lot of time, so you don't want to get very wordy with your resume. You kind of want to be straight to the point. This is who I am, and always have a cover letter as well.
Right.
So.
Okay. How long have you been involved with this program as far as the community coordinator?
So I have been involved. So I was hired at Goodwill just over 2 years ago. So it'll be like 2 years and 2 months and like a week. So that's how long I've been involved.
Right.
And I've seen a lot of growth in the program, just because when I started in Goodwill Connections, it was relatively like the beginning of Goodwill Connections, and now we have supported our clients as I said, over 80% of our participants are now working competitively or volunteering, whereas when I started, most of them weren't. And we've really grown the program to be lots of different things. So now this year starting, we're going to be offering vocational skill workshops here at the Career Center for people who are job searching and they're wanting to kind of update their skills, whether they need resume skills, interview skills, how to talk to your employer, how to talk to your coworkers. So we're introducing that as well. And we've just seen great success with the program.
Yeah. And so you're constantly, I would think you're refining or redefining what the program does and trying to expand it and add more resources and tools. Is technology playing a big part in assisting? I would think now, like looking for a job, I know I used to go out and knock on doors and even if they weren't hiring, I kept going back, whatever, until they would hire me. But a lot of this stuff is online now. Is that how you look for it now too? Is a lot online, or do you still go out and knock on doors?
We do still do that, but yes, a lot has changed where a lot of job search is online. So we actually have a training room here where we have laptops where people can use it. On the Career Center side, there's a resource center as well for people to do online job search. And we help people with that application process as well, just because with different websites, it's sometimes it can be very confusing and they kind of want you to like type out your whole resume again, or they're asking for different things as well. So we help support people in that because there are a lot of people who do use the internet and all the websites out there to post job postings. So we support our clients in that, and we do have the resources there as well. And that's something that we really expanded on when we moved to our new building. So in April of this year, we moved to a new building.
Okay.
We were able to design our space to better fit the program needs. And we definitely knew that we needed the training room with the laptops and iPads and stuff like that to support people in their job search.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
But we do still have connections with employers where we're going out and meeting them face to face, talking over the phone, emails, that sort of thing, sending people to stores to apply in person, because that is still some way where the employer prefers. And it's just all about having that conversation with that employer, having that initial conversation, asking how they prefer us to contact them.
Right. Well, because and so you go out with somebody to knock on the door, so to speak, or to go to the interview, or is that something they have to do on their own?
It would honestly be situational. If an employer is okay with us supporting someone in an interview, or sometimes we will go and talk to the employer beforehand and kind of see what positions they're looking for, how we can support them, that sort of thing. And then we can talk to our client to say, okay, go apply here. Here's who you should be asking for, that sort of thing.
Right. Okay. So it's a case by case basis, obviously.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
It just depends on the relationship we have with the employer.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Well, because I know like a lot of people go into that interview can be scary, right? Because we don't like to sit down and sort of be quizzed or whatever. Like some of us don't like getting in front of a camera or whatever. It's awkward, right? So is that's something that is I guess a skill that is taught, or you try to teach that skill to build some confidence, I guess, in the whole approach?
Yeah, for sure. We do offer interview prep. We do it in a group basis, like through a workshop, or we do it individually as well. But really what we tell people is everyone's nervous for an interview because we don't do interviews every single day.
Right.
So it's normal to feel nervous, but there are some tips that we can give you on helping to make the process a little bit easier, helping to make sure that when you're talking to the employer that you're presenting as yourself, and you are able to market the skills that you have to them. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for, I didn't know about this program until you reached out to me. So I'm really glad that you did. I knew about Goodwill, but not this program. So it's good that we can put that out there for you. And is there anything else you want to throw out there that we missed before I let you go?
Just one more thing is that we are starting a connectability program. So that's for people who aren't in the Connections program or aren't aligned with it. So it's an inclusive learning environment for youth with disabilities between the ages of 16 to 22.
Oh, okay.
and it will run every third Thursday from 4:30 to 7:30, and it's just a place where they can come, have dinner, learn some new skills, socialize with new people. And it will offer a brief respite for caregivers and families, and each time is $20, but it's really a great program. We're really excited about it to help people not only socialize, but to learn important independent living skills as well.
Okay, fantastic. Well, do me a favor, send me an email with that information and those times and everything you just shared, and I'll make sure we post it here after the show, and we'll get some more attention out there for it as well. And please keep me updated as to what's happening with you and the Goodwill Connections program.
Great. Thank you so much for having me today. It was great talking to you.
You're very welcome, Shelby. We'll talk to you again soon. Sure. Shelby Griggs from Goodwill Connections. And we got her through it all. She was very informative. And again, it was a program that I had not heard about. So I was glad to have Shelby on here, and I hope you got informed, and maybe you know somebody who can use these services. All right. I'm going to scare my guests in here because they're supposed to be coming up at 4:15. Karen and Art, I'm going to jump ahead to you because I'm still missing another guest. That's why I have a whole bunch of guests in case one doesn't make it. Life happens, all right? So we're going to come over to them. Are you on two wheels? If you are, you're really going to love what we're talking about. And you know what I mean when I say two wheels, right? Vroom, vroom, motorcycles and all that stuff. We're going to bring our friends Karen and Art on here coming up in just a moment. There you are.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Not too bad. You guys are you fitting both your heads into the screen there somehow. There you go. Get together like you like each other.
Yeah,
well. You're a little dark there, but we'll work with that. Karen and Art are from Ozwelds Diner here in Sarnia on Plank Road, and I think coming into about your third year out there now, right?
That's right.
Yeah. What made you want to get into the restaurant business?
Well, I'm a chef, so I've been working in a lot of different restaurants, and I like it. That's what I do, and I don't know. I just decided to invest a little bit of money into a restaurant.
There you go. Do what you love, right?
Yeah. Love what you do.
That's right. Well, I've been out, as you know, a few times. I've really come to like being out there at Ozwelds, and aside from the good food, and I say that honestly, I have not been paid to say this. I really do enjoy the food. I would say it's like a restaurant, like a Cheers restaurant, if you're old enough to remember that. But there's a really nice atmosphere out there. Yeah,
we have a lot of regular customers. They totally make our business, really. We appreciate that too. But every day, all the time, it's always, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? We know everybody in there.
Yeah. Well, and you almost you get involved almost in their. I don't mean like in a nosy way, but it's like a family. You're involved, really, right? Is. And you know who's who, right?
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's important to know your clients, your guests, and stuff, and create relationships with them. In this kind of business.
Yeah, well, I've noticed that, and that's probably one of the things, again, besides the food that I really enjoy is, and both of you, Karen and Art, you make a point of coming out and talking to each individual that is there. You stop, you do that. I've seen Karen come out and talk, and then she goes, "Hey, Art, come out. You need to get out here," and that's that's really important to you, right? To have those relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I learned that from a guy in Montreal. He had a hotel where you stay at and stuff, and he had 5 restaurants in there.
Wow. And
this guy was 70 years old, and he went to every restaurant every day, worked at every one of them, talked to all his guests.
Is that right?
It was great. Yeah, he'd be serving them coffee, helping the girls, put pickles in jars and stuff. and like he talked to everybody in that restaurant every day.
And it's good to do that, but it has to be genuine as well. Like Art, I know whenever you've come out and said hello to me, you weren't just doing it because you're like, oh yeah, I got to go out and do that thing. You genuinely take the time to talk to people, and you're a good listener. I should put that out there too. You're a good listener for that. So I know lots of people appreciate that, and then of course all the love goes into the food too, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's right. Now you're a couple of two-wheelers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been riding?
Well, I built my first bike when I was 15 years old.
You built your first bike?
And I've been riding ever since I was 16 years old and could get a license.
Oh, so it was
I was
only about
actually riding before that, but I don't want to talk too much
it
about
was
that.
only about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I find that interesting. Most people, like, I bought my first motorcycle, and you built your first motorcycle. That's you always like getting your hands dirty in there and working on stuff.
Yeah. Well, like over the years too, I built several, maybe 20 bikes.
Wow.
It kind of got to be like work though, so I kind of stopped doing it in I don't know, 99, 2000, something like that. I think is the last time I actually built one.
Right. Okay. What are you riding now?
Right now, I've got a 2004 Harley Super Glide.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, it's nice, fuel injected. Nice bike.
Cool. I don't think I've seen it yet. I know you've seen mine, but
Yeah, it's there when you're there. You just
is it? I just don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
It's not too flashy. I'm not too flashy of a guy,
Yeah, I hear you. Well, let's talk about this special event that you've got coming up. I know it's a special. Well, and actually, just before we talk about that, I know one of the things that is important to you folks, I'll just say to Ozwelds, is giving back into the community. And you've really attached yourselves to the Sarnia Special Olympics.
That's right.
Yeah, it's something that's kind of come close to us. You can talk about this, Karen. You know a lot about it.
So we actually had somebody that was involved with Special Olympics working with us last year. So he was a power lifter. So we started kind of talking to him about things and how they do things in the community. And then I actually know Tana Manchester. I've known her pretty much my whole life. We used to play hockey together. And her dad actually comes into the diner every day for breakfast. So he's part of the Ozwelds family now too. And I know quite a few kids and people that have their children involved with Special Olympics. And I really just love the fact that they're always so happy and they do all kinds of things in the community. They make everybody feel like they're welcome. And, the kids are just always smiling and having such a great time. So I just thought it was a great charity, to invest our money in. So we try to do things for them, like their 50-50 draws twice a week. We do those. And, for 2 Wheel Tuesdays and our cruise nights. And then, of course, everything, for registration, the 50-50 draws, we're raising money for them at the new Show and Shine too this year. So we're hoping to raise some money for them then too.
Yeah. Well, I know it's, I know, gotten to know Tana a little bit over the last couple of years. I've known her dad a long time.
Yeah.
And so I know that it's something really personal to her. So, and I know they're very grateful for what you're doing out there. And I can honestly say I would like to see more businesses doing what you're doing. Because, we all got to make a living, right? That's fair. But I'm with you. I'm one of those ones that believes we all have something we can do to give back, whether it's on a grand scale or a small scale, and we don't all have to do it publicly, right? But so when you've got a nice resource out there that says, here, we've got this space.
That's right.
How can we share this back? So kudos to both of you for coming up with that. Let's talk about the event that's coming up here, the Show and Shine on September the 7th, right?
Yeah, that's our third annual motorcycle show and shine. We've been having 100 bikes showed up in the last 2 years in a row for it. We're hoping people show up. We're hoping people show up this year. You never know. It's a crapshoot. You could go or could not. But we do it. We have 10 different classes that they can win trophies in. We're doing a few events. More like field events and stuff for motorcycles this year too. We're doing 3 of those, got trophies for champions of those divisions and stuff.
We found a band. We found a band to come too.
Yeah, we finally found a band.
Oh, you did. I was going to ask you because
I
know we were trying.
Yeah. So we actually got a band from London named The Issues with Kimberly. It's a country band. One of their lead guitarists can't come, so they're going to come and do an acoustic show. There's a couple of them coming for that. And they're going to play some country and a little bit of classic rock and stuff too. So we're excited to have them here. It's pretty good. So.
Oh, I'm so glad that worked out for you. I know we were looking around trying to find something, but
we actually just secured it yesterday. So we're pretty excited about that. They're actually donating their time to us for the Special Olympics as well. So that's great.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really neat, because when you start putting these things on and you're not really sure is it's going to take off? Is it's going to
Yeah.
work? You know, but
Right.
you follow your heart and you go through it anyway. And
Yeah.
now you're making all these connections through. And honestly, I can tell you, Karen, Art, it comes back to the relationships that you've established.
Mhm.
And I noticed too that you like to go out of town and support other places that
That's right.
have restaurants, etc. Because recently you were just in what's
We
the one
went,
you did?
we went for a ride up to
Pancor.
Tobermory. We went to Pancor the other night for a bike
Pancor,
night
yeah,
that they
that's the
had.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to one the other night. It was good. They had a guy there singing, and the food was good. And it was at a hotel. I don't really drink, but still, we went, and it was a good time. I think 7 of us were coming home from there that night, all happy.
Yeah, I wanted to go. I forget where I was, but I was like, oh, that would just be so much fun. And and honestly, I was looking forward to having a chance to just hang out with you guys outside of work, right? You know, because I know you can only talk so much, but we'll get to that.
Working.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
What's and you've got some staff. Actually, we've got my friend Dom Fernandez. His sister Shirley works at Ozwelds.
That's right. Yeah.
Shirley, yeah.
Shout out to Shirley. Dom's one of my Dom's been a friend of mine for 25 years, so I've known him.
Yeah, she was telling me about it. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. What's next for Ozwelds? I mean, you've got the summertime, and it's kind of winding down, and this will sort of be one of the how long does the Two Wheel Tuesdays goes on for?
Well, they run through till the end of October.
Oh, okay. All right. So
or whenever people stop coming. But I mean, every year it's gone on till the end of October so far. So, it thins out a little bit. Maybe we won't have as many people some nights, but I mean, we still go. It's it's just fun. It's not. I tell people when they come, you don't have to come and buy dinner or anything. You just come and hang out and enjoy the brotherhood of motorcycles.
Yeah. See, I think that's cool.
That's it, and what it's more about just creating relationships with more people around the community. So,
and so, I lost my thought there for a minute. Coming into wintertime though, like things really change for you. But as far as obviously bikes don't still come out, but one thing I noticed a couple of times actually it rained. Obviously, bikes don't like rain, but people still got in their vehicles and came out anyway.
That's right. Yeah.
That has to make you feel pretty good that people are going, I don't have my bike tonight, but it's still Two Wheel Tuesday. We got to go out to Ozwelds.
That is good because really it was the last one that we had and it wasn't very nice out. There was maybe
a car night, but
it was a car night. That's right too. Sorry. It wasn't.
Well, anyway, we were expecting nobody to come because it was raining, and we actually had one of our busiest nights that we've had so far. So it was great. There was a couple parties going on, and the dining room was just full of people coming to eat. So
That's
it was
awesome.
kind of good. Yeah.
Well, good for you guys. And I'm looking forward to, I'll be out there on September 7th joining you. I'm going to bring out my media tent. And we're going to do some live streaming and stuff. And we're going to, between now and then, encourage a whole bunch of people we got to get the public out there. And if we could get them to redo that road, it might do you some good out there too.
Well,
Next year.
they're talking about it, but they talk about it every year too. So
Listen, I'll tell you, on two wheels, it's not the nicest road to go down.
No.
So if people are coming down on two wheels, they really like you a lot.
Yes, they do.
And it's not just guys on motorcycles that want to come either. There's other people, that don't never ridden a motorcycle in their life, and they come sometimes to bike nights and just to see what's going on and have something to eat sometimes. Or
I know my boy he rides an e-bike right now, and he wants to come out. So
he can still come.
Two wheels.
We're gonna keep encouraging them to go out there. I've got to move on to my next guest, but Karen and Art, thank you so much for being here today. You. I really adore both of you, and I'm looking forward to spending more time with you, and definitely on September the 7th for the show and shine.
That's
awesome, Dave. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, no problem. For sure. I could talk to them for a long, long time. They're just two great people, and I'm so glad to be able to have connected with them. We've got something in common, and we've been able to, and they're doing really well. Check them out there. If going way back, I'll date myself. It used to be McDuff's at one time. There you go. That's how long this place has been around. But Ozwelds Diner, and they start serving breakfast every morning, and then Two Wheel Tuesdays and Wednesdays is cruise night, both 6 to 9 p.m. They open up just for that. Go check them out on Facebook, and I had their website up on there as well. We will be posting all the links for all of our guests here after the show, so you can keep an eye out for that. All right, going to move on to my next guest. Are you crossing the bridge a lot? Do you ever wonder who looks after all of that? Well, that's what we're going to talk about here. We're going to talk to our friend from the Federal Bridge Corporation. Hey,
David,
how are you today?
How's it going?
Not too bad. You must have had a busy bit of a delay there.
Well, I think I had an issue with my webcam. My laptop seems to want to default to another camera, so I had to switch over to this one here.
You know what? Don't feel bad. I have yet to have a perfect show. Tell everybody who you are.
Hi, I'm Todd Kealey. I work for the Federal Bridge Corporation, and we run the Canadian side of the Blue Water Bridge.
Right. Now, the Federal Bridge Corporation, that sounds like a really big, massive corporation that is looking after all of this. And it really is a big corporation, isn't it?
Well, it's a sizable corporation, but we're really not that many people. We basically run the Blue Water Bridge, the Sault Ste. Marie Bridge. We run the Thousand Islands Bridge and the Seaway International Bridge in Cornwall. But technically speaking, we're only about 125 people. We're really not that much.
Right. Maybe it's just that word corporation.
Yeah, I guess so. It scares a lot of people. It makes us sound very official.
Yeah, right.
I have a nice Canadian flag here in the background just to make it look more official.
Nice. Let's see if we can. I can't see it just yet. Oh, maybe not. That's all right. We got you here, and that's what's important. Let's go a little more in depth about all of that, because I'm sure you must get asked a lot of questions. And I'm sure even recently, and we don't have to go too far into it, but is the bridge for sale somewhere? You want to buy a bridge?
Well, if you got a lot of money in your pocket and you don't mind carrying a lot of debt, then sure, I guess so. If you talk to Michigan, maybe, but that to me is really just a lot of people floating ideas to try and solve some big problems they have at the state level in Michigan. So we'll leave that to them to figure that problem out.
Yeah, good answer. I do think though that people must sit and well, I know my wife, she likes to tally things up in her head. So for X number of dollars, every car goes over. Boy, oh boy, they must be making a whole lot of money. But I'm like, no, there's a whole lot of expense going on there, right?
Yeah, the thing that people seem to forget is that roads and bridges aren't free. Like we take advantage of them just because they're there, but somebody's got to pay for it at some point. And bridges on top of that have extra issues because they're exposed to the elements. So you got things like rust, you got things like surface wear. The Blue Water Bridge is the second busiest commercial crossing, as anyone who's taken it knows how many trucks are there. In the U.S. and we're seeing something like 5,000 cars a day crossing the bridge. So it's a constant wear and tear. It's a constant battle against erosion and corrosion and pollution, and it just doesn't end. And those things aren't cheap.
Yeah, well, and I was just going to say, like, it's not just like it's a flat road that just goes, you can fix that. This is something that's up in the air, and there's all kinds of structure issues and safety issues, right?
We have underneath as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, we do take advantage of it, and we are fortunate to have that here to be able to go over to see our neighbors in the good old US of A and do whatever we want to do over there. There must have to be a good relationship between both sides.
Yeah, the thing is, it's not just Federal Bridge, it's Federal Bridge working with Michigan Department of Transportation, and that's just for the bridge. Mm-hmm. Then you have, on top of that, you've got like Customs and Border Service Agency, Canadian Food Inspection Agency, you got Homeland Security, Customs and Border Protection on the U.S. side. There's a lot of different organizations all working together to make this thing flow.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's, I guess, a lot of moving parts to it all.
Yeah.
And again, I guess, you know, out of sight, out of mind. We, the public, don't really, if we don't really see it, we don't really understand it. Just what happened. And I guess that's why we're here talking today. I was recently down at the Tall Ships. I was broadcasting down there, and I ran into some friends of ours from the Federal Bridge Corporation, and they're promoting something I guess has been around since October 2018, maybe, and the Connexion program. Yeah,
the Connexion program was launched in 2018 in October, but it started over the summer of last summer, really testing the systems and making sure that everything would work perfectly when people get to the bridge. Basically, what you do is you go onto the website, which is federalbridge.ca/connection. It's strange you got two guests today talking about Connexion, but it's a good name for a bridge. And what you do is you'll get one of these in the mail. You stick it to your car windshield, and this has a little antenna inside it. So when you get to the bridge, it'll connect to your account, debit your account, and away you go. It's bing, bang, boom, you're across the bridge. And your tolls are basically paid in advance.
Right.
It works in all lanes. That's one thing that a lot of folks don't realize. It works in every single lane. But
okay, I was going to ask that question. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we've got the lane on the left-hand side is dedicated to connections. So typically there are no lineups. So anyone with this tag, you're through it in a few seconds. You don't have to fiddle with your wallet or credit cards or cash or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, your arrangements is all pre-done and you're on your way.
Yeah, it's funny. I'd never heard of it, and I'm kind of in the know, and I hadn't really heard of it. And then after you and I talked on the phone to set this up, it's kind of like that new word that you didn't know before, and then you learn the new word, and now you hear it everywhere.
Right.
I've run into at least 10 people that have talked to me about this now and said, "Oh, have you got your connection?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then they tell me, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be interviewing that guy actually," and blah blah blah. And so it's really catching on.
Right now we're seeing close to 500 cars a day go through with the tags on.
Nice.
You know, so in terms of people who commute on a daily basis, I think a lot of those folks already see the value and they're sold. And like you say, they're in the community telling people, you got to get this. It's so much better. So really what we're trying to do too is create awareness for people who cross, say, more casually, someone who goes across on a Saturday or Sunday, you know, once, twice, 3 times a month. Even those people will benefit from you're saving money and you're saving a lot of time and you're bypassing a lot of the lineups, which is the real key part.
Well, and I was just talking to my wife about it the other day because we go over a lot, and she always asks me for the money. So I got to reach into my wallet and go, "Here's the $5," or I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to do that, but she's probably still going to make me prepay for it all. But there is a savings there, right? What's the
Yeah.
savings?
So normally a car right now you're paying $425 to cross the bridge.
Okay.
With the tag, you're only paying $375.
Wow.
If you've got a trailer, you're getting a 25-cent discount on your trailer too. So everybody's saving money. And it adds up. It doesn't take long for you to recover your costs here. It's really simple to use. All you have to do is go to the website, sign up. You give your credit card information, and we'll debit your account. And really, the funds just are there in reserve. If you get low, there's an option for automatically topping up your account.
Right.
You can set the amounts. You can set the thresholds, and you're really controlling what you do and how you do it.
And where did this come from? Was this an idea that Federal Bridge Corporation created, or are you copying a good cat, or where did that arrive from?
It's really industry standards right now. If you look across the tolling industry, a lot of this comes from people who do. Let's talk about the states. In California and Florida and New York State, for example, a lot of people use toll roads. Toll highways are pervasive. Pennsylvania Thruway, that kind of thing. And these technologies were created. They're all standards-based technologies. So The tag itself has a little antenna. I don't know if you can see it too clearly. I'll try and show it here. So little antennas in the sticker, and so really this is all what's on this tag is stuff that's been standardized and proven throughout North America and Europe for years now. So really, it's new for the Federal Bridge. It's new for the Blue Water Bridge, but this stuff has been around for years, and people rave about it.
So we're just catching up.
We're just catching up, and even our partners with the Michigan Department of Transportation, they're still working on their systems to get similar capabilities running too. So it's not something that you can just sort of turn on a flip of a dime, but it's technology that's proven that people are moving towards.
Right. I'm guessing that security would be a piece in making sure that like nobody's reloading with not actually really paying. Like security is a big part of all of this too, right?
Yeah, well, the accounts are secure in the sense that when you create your account, you get a unique identifier. You can allocate multiple tags to your account. The website where the account information, we separate the payment data from the account information. So stuff like your name and address and things like that,
right,
are completely separate from the actual credit information, so that all that kind of stuff is protected. All the account numbers are unique and encrypted, so nobody else can pretend to be you and steal from your account, for example.
Okay.
And the way that the technology is, the encoding on this, it's all, like I said, it's all proven stuff. So
yeah,
it's all secure and reliable.
So if I have 5 cars in my family,
mm-hmm.
I can under one account get 5 tags?
Yeah, actually we limit it at 4, but
okay,
right. you can have one account and all 4 tags are going through, and we have a lot of customers like that right now. I think they would put one on mom's car, dad's car, daughter's car, maybe the motorcycle or the RV or stuff like that. So people can basically deal with it in a single point and not worry about who's using it and when. It's all within their family.
Right. Well, you answered one of my questions already too there, because I'm a motorcycle rider, as you just learned. So does it have to be on my windshield, or can it be in my pocket and I pull it out and hold it up, or how does that work?
Technically, it can be anywhere on you, but because it's fairly fragile, you'd want to have it somewhere fairly solid and robust. So typically the inside of your windshield is the best place to do it.
Okay.
You also don't want to have it against something metallic, because then the radio antenna can't talk to something. So the windshield is typically the best place, whether it's a car or a motorcycle.
Right. Okay. Well, I think it's just a great idea, and I know my wife's excited about it because she likes to save money. Who doesn't like to save money, right? Exactly. And the fact that you sign this up for free. Now, is it only with credit card? Can people load it with debit, or is there alternatives to loading it?
You can pay with debit, any electronic payment. So we don't support paying with cash or with checks, but
right.
If you have credit card or debit card, you're online and you're rolling.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much for your time and talking to us.
That's my pleasure. Anytime, David.
Is there anything else you want to throw out there before I let you go?
The only thing I'd like to point out is that we're finding a lot of our travelers are weekday travelers.
Okay.
And our busiest days are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So really, if you're only going across, let's say on weekends or once a month or a couple times a month on weekends, this is for you. You're saving money and you're gaining a lot of speed when you're crossing the bridge, getting in front of the lineup. So we're encouraging people who are weekend warriors to take advantage too.
For sure. Well, we'll keep spreading the word out there. And Todd, send me all the emails you want about what's going on and reminders and all that sort of stuff. And we'll make sure we post it out there for everybody to learn more about what the Federal Bridge Corporation is doing.
Will do, David. Thank you a lot.
All right. Have a good day. Todd Kealey from the Federal Bridge Corporation. Did you know that's what it was called? I didn't. Now we know a little bit more about all of that, right? And the Connexion program. What an awesome idea, as you heard Todd talking about that. I'm sure we'll have Todd back from time to time to keep us updated on what's happening with the Federal Bridge Corporation. And wow, we're just we've had 4 guests on here today. It was almost perfect, but we got through it. It's okay. Thank you to everybody who watches the program. Want to go back and say thank you to Leigh Cunningham, the voice of the Sarnia Sting, who are getting ready. Training camp has begun. And don't forget, coming up on Wednesday, August the 28th, the black and white game in support of the United Way Sarnia-Lambton will be happening. And my friend Leigh Cunningham will keep us updated. We'll be talking to him from time to time. And then, of course, we had our friends Karen and Art from Ozwelds. And then they're having, if you're on 2 wheels, September the 7th, even if you're not on 2 wheels, I encourage you to come out September the 7th for the 3rd annual motorcycle show and shine in support of the Sarnia Special Olympics. And then, of course, our friend Shelby from another Connections, but the Goodwill Connections, talking to us about their program. And, of course, once again, Todd from the Federal Bridge Corporation. Thank you, everybody, so much for coming by here. And I will just say, because I am a rider, I got to put this out there. Watch out for the motorcycles. They are on the road for still a while yet. And keep your eyes out. You riders as well got to keep out for everybody else. So be safe out there, everybody. And if you can't watch me, or you don't, well, some people would say, if you don't like looking at me, funny, you can also listen to me online. Everywhere podcasts can be found, including Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Anywhere podcasts can be found, you can find me. I want to say a special thank you to some of our title sponsors. Joe's Discount Tire here in Sarnia has come on as a title sponsor. Very grateful for their support. We've got an announcement coming up about them next month, so we're excited for that. And our friends at askguy.ca. You notice how I can say this because I know Guy really well. I have to say that slowly. Ask Guy, because if you say it really fast, anyway, you can figure that out. AskGuy.ca and their support from the beginning 8 years ago when I started the show. So I'm very grateful to them. And I'm grateful to all of you once again. That's all the time I got for you this week, everybody. Have a great week and an even better weekend. And I will see you next time right here on the show live.